What is your view in what's happening in Palestine?
My view on what's happening in Palestine.
If there is a God,
We're the Existence Project, and we try to have respectful, loving conversations.
There is no.
Palestine.
I have.
Sorry?
I have a.
Palestine.
Palestine. Okay.
I have a toaster, and this toaster go all over the sun, and I believe
Toaster?
a toaster. Yeah, I believe in it. I believe the toaster go around the sun. Do you believe that?
No,
Why? Prove to me. No, it's not there.
because there's no evidence for that.
But there is no blooming evidence for that.
But there is. That's why we're having these conversations.
Because we have the tree.
No,
we have
nobody,
that
sir.
thing.
With due respect, nobody believes that this universe originated from a toaster. There are qualities of the universe that show us where it originated from.
I believe in it.
Sorry.
I believe the world is
Fine, but you are equivocating.
I give you the proof.
Yeah.
All that, everything here created from the toaster.
Okay. There's no proof.
And if we haven't got a toaster, we haven't got a world.
But there's no evidence in our universe.
No evidence for the God. Okay, you can call this toaster God. This toaster is God. Call it God. Okay, that's it. And we agreed. The toaster is God.
Sure.
So God exists.
May I respond, please?
Yes.
Sure.
Please do.
I really appreciate we're here having
Academic
loving
discussion. It's
yeah
not like-
loving
it's
discussions
academic
and
discussion. It's not. It's not. I'm converting you, converting me.
no, we're just-
Is we analyze
I
it.
think this is an amazing question, and we have great conversations with great people like yourselves. So the response is, I hear this a lot. People equivocate this to a teacup, and the various atheists. This is a horribly disingenuous argument, and I'll tell you why. When we look at the Big Bang, for example, how do we know that the Big Bang took place? We know the Big Bang took place because of microwave background radiation, because of the redshift effect of galaxies, because of various forces, and we work backwards from there. When we work backwards from the creative, fundamentally creative forces, the laws, then we have to go backward, and there's no room for a toaster, but there is room to discuss whether the force that, the impetus of the universe, the thing that started all of this, was intelligent or not. There is an amazing amount of evidence in every particle of the universe that things are tuned to amazing levels, from the subatomic particles to biological life. The question, so that is why when we go work backwards, every atheist in the world, even the most leading atheists, Richard Dawkins, Daniel Dennett, Sam Harris, and so many others, in their own books they write that there is incontrovertibly the appearance of design. So there's nothing in the universe that tells us that it came from a toaster, but every particle of the universe shows us that it came from an intelligent, creative force. And to believe otherwise, that it happened randomly, is so absolutely against the mathematical probability of it.
Because you think it is intelligence behind it, so it has to be a God.
What else would you call it?
Nature and physics.
So you would say that nature is intelligent?
Wait a minute. Now the Earth go around the sun. What stop the Earth go to the sun? It's not God standing separating them. It's the physics. It's the physics of nature, right? So what I was saying is, if you tell me nature is the God, I probably follow you, because we don't know anything. We don't know much about nature, but what we're discovering slowly. The issue of who created the God, who created the earth, or who doesn't, is like chicken and the eggs or something. As long as we don't know it, we don't need to worry about it now. We don't use it to control people to a certain religion. The only thing is, if you tell me who created the earth, I tell you I'm not sure, but I have ideas. I say it, but I'm not sure. But I don't think my idea is 100% right. But I'm working out according to my degree of intelligence and education. You see what I'm saying? So far, I satisfy myself that nature, it is the power. Nature can kill us. Nature can create us. Nature can control the tornadoes, the earthquake, the things. It balance, and the earth, it has to survive. The earth is surviving being, and the earth has to survive, and this is the reason they created tree, they created me, they created sea, they created fish, they created everything. All it worked to survive it. And if the imbalance gone wrong, the earth take over to to resurvive things. You see what I'm saying?
What are your views? Are you
I love it. Yeah. May I respond to the points that you've raised, please?
Yeah.
So the first thing that you said is that it's physics.
Yeah.
Physics within itself is not a thing. Physics refers to the human study of the fundamental forces that underpin our universe and how physically all of matter interacts. That is what physics refers to.
We know the physics because it exists. We didn't know physics before, right? We never saw physics or anything.
I allowed you to speak, so if you permit me to just respond, and I'll come back to you, respond to everything. Yeah? So I'm just clarifying from a scientific lens. I'm not saying physics does not exist. I'm saying it exists, but physics refers to the scientific human study of observed phenomena through experiments, right?
Yeah.
Now, every single verb that you used to describe what the earth does, what nature does, the first point that I would say is, I agree with you that nature is a brilliant force that is in many ways self-regulating and is working toward equilibrium and balance and all of these phenomena. However, what I'm saying is that unfortunately, all of the verbs that you have used, every single thing that you have described, requires an intelligence behind it.
All right. Okay. Do you know about quantum physics?
I mean, I can't say I know all of quantum physics because it's quite literally infinite.
Go about it and see. They find that the atoms, even fraction of the atoms, has its own life, has its own way.
Yes.
You know that? I don't know you heard that.
Yes.
It has, and you know they couldn't until now we don't understand it how it works, but we are going to use it to our benefit. But we don't understand how the minute atom can think, can go there, this hole or this hole, or can go both in one hole or something like that. So doesn't that give you idea why that? You see,
that's what I'm saying.
I agree with you. So look, to say God is here because create us, just say, is very easy and a simple way to believe. It doesn't stop you from making research of doubt.
I'm not against. Sir, I'm a Muslim. We are the ones who pioneered the scientific golden age. So I'm not against that. Science. Sorry, we did not pioneer the scientific golden age. Please, I'd love to hear why.
I'll tell you what. Every science we had it, we got it from the Greek.
Okay.
And the Greek and the Persian and the Roman.
Okay.
We develop it.
Yes. So you agree?
Listen to me. We're not creating it. We develop it.
No, I'm not saying we created it, sir.
Let me finish. The reason we had the science as a Muslims, because we start to study the culture and the philosophy of the West. Yes. When you study the philosophy of the West, we find there is philosophy different than the religion. And this philosophy make you think and make you understand, read it, and eventually you'll know the fact and the real Islam, which I'm proud of it. You see?
Can I ask this guy?
Sure.
I know I'm going to go somewhere else, but what is your view in what's happening in Palestine?
My view on what's happening in Palestine, it of course is heartbreaking.
It's so beyond belief.
It's absolutely.
What if there is a God? Why do you think this God is allowing this to happen?
I will tell you because
Is it just sort of collective psychosis? I understand that.
I tell you what, if you are in a mosque and sitting down.
Sir, may I answer?
Sorry. Yeah, if you had the...
Is she allowed to speak for herself?
Yes.
May I answer?
Yes, I am. It's just that he gets very passionate.
Why did you ask these questions? You're allowed to speak. It's a loaded question there. Why is he allowed to speak? She's because talking to you. The reason I'm talking is not because I'm stopping her talking, because you asked me and I have a lot of material to give you.
I understand.
Right? But doesn't mean I stopped everybody talking.
But you just interrupted her 3 times.
But it's just normal when you discuss, sometimes interrupt and stop and think, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm asking.
Right. Okay, well, let's get back to everywhere.
Yeah.
If you had the power to stop this in Palestine and all of the people we thought would stop it are actually supporting it, wouldn't somebody that's full of love, that's created all of us, wouldn't they just stop it now?
Yes. So, firstly, that is a question that I think everyone with a conscience should be asking. And the reason we're out here talking about these topics is that, for example, everything that your friend, I'm not sure if you're related, or Ahmed, has said.
My husband.
I see, your husband. We have a very clear.
He's a lovely guy, honestly, just gets very passionate.
I don't doubt it at all. I love the passion. I think we're here to show that. To question. And we walk away with a greater understanding. When it comes to things like Palestine, the real question is, why does God allow suffering? Firstly, if we are going to ask about God Almighty, then we cannot just point to only the suffering and attribute that to God. The mercy that you and I have in our heart, that we feel indignant against suffering, that should also be attributed to God. That if God exists and He has allowed suffering, then why is the same God who has put such indignation in our heart against suffering, that we stand here and ask and we rebel against it and we do everything in our power? In the end, if free will exists, then naturally there must be people who choose the right path and the wrong path. And that is why, from a strictly atheistic lens, there is no sense of justice whatsoever. Because a person who is genocidal and a person who is fighting against genocide, they both go to the same place. And our conscience rejects this. He was talking about equilibrium. How can it be that this universe is rightfully racing toward equilibrium? Every particle, subparticle, neutrino, antineutrino, proton, gluon is racing toward equilibrium. But when it comes to our morality, the moral equivocation, the moral result of biological life, that grave injustice can suddenly occur. That is why we are saying that we're not pointing to some God. We are here because the concept of God has gotten such bad press, and those who believe in God have done such a poor job of presenting the arguments for the existence of God. So the fact that we have compassion, why do we say that monkeys kill each other, but you and I, God forbid, murder each other? Because we understand that we have a higher moral compass. We say that that is also evidence of a supreme moral entity, and that's why all we're saying is, when we go back all the way to the cause of all causes, that cause must be intelligent. You conceded that nature, all of what nature does, it chooses, it judiciously selects between what is advantageous to survival. All of these attributes point to a supreme level of intellect. When that level of intellect is flowing through all of time and space, we are humbly submitting to the public that we are not pointing to some bearded man in the sky, to some toaster in the universe. We're saying that the thing that started all of this is a conscious creative force. How can it be that the one that has created organisms capable of the highest level of complexity, whether you call it blind or not, is itself not capable of communicating? That's all.
Okay, can you tell me, how do you manifest?
Thank you. I love to hear views from different people, especially religious organisations, and I find them all really interesting and helpful. I usually always learn something.
Okay, how do you manifest God for me?
Thank you. That's a really good question. I'm really glad that you asked that question. When we say that we want to manifest evidence for something, the evidence for a thing must be brought forth according to the qualities of that thing. If a thing is physical in the physical world, then we will bring it into a laboratory, or we will try to quantify it in a way that we can touch, see, smell, hear, etc. If a thing is metaphysical, for example, love, happiness, that is something that is only experienced, regret, rage, all of these different sentiments. Likewise, as we go up the ladder of forces, the more powerful the force gets, the more impossible and difficult it becomes to glean with our five physical senses. You have to calibrate yourself, create the right technology to know, for example, that electromagnetism or the strong nuclear force or the weak nuclear force exists, or that dark energy exists. Then there are things, as you go up the ladder, then there are things like dark energy, increasingly elusive. We are saying that, of course, the force that is behind all those forces must need me the most metaphysical outside of the physical force itself. It's only logical.
Okay,
so to ask, I'm coming. So in every single era, in every single nation, the prophets of God, what we call the prophets of God, have always taught the method of sincere regimen and prayer, to ask God yourself that, oh God, if you exist, I ought to know. I have a right over you, that I should know that I have a conscious creator and that there is a specific intent. So that is why we're inviting our brothers and sisters in humankind to actually look into this and sincerely take a moment to talk to God, not to make him the subject of some experiment, but to do what all 124,000 prophets have taught, is to talk to God sincerely and say, oh God, I want to know. And then if there is no evidence, then you have a right to say, look, there is nothing, I have tried.
So until now you didn't
Is that not fair?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
So now you didn't give me any manifestation to God. You tell me how to reach to manifestation of God, right? So you are actually telling me about God, which you don't know anything about him.
Sorry?
Because you tell me you have to go up and up and up and up until you find it.
I experience God Almighty daily.
Okay.
That's why I'm talking about this.
Okay, what is it? What is it? Tell me, what do you experience?
For example, the undeniable acceptance of prayer in situations that are absolutely impossible, in situations where doctors have come. If you want an example, I give you hundreds of examples from my own life.
Yeah, but what is it? Tell me, what is it? Give me one example.
One example, for example, last year I was coming to the UK. I developed a very serious ear infection, and the doctor who helped is probably going to be watching this. She can testify. I went to see her. I had a flight to the UK. I had been instructed to come and talk about God Almighty. My ear was hurting so badly that the entire right side of my face started swelling up. There was pressure. The doctor said, do not go on the plane. Your eardrums will burst. Until then, take 2 weeks of antibiotics, then come back to me, and when I say you should go. Now, we believe in medicine. As Muslims, if God exists, he has created the physical universe as well as the spiritual universe. So that night I prayed fervently, and I wrote to somebody who I consider very pious. I said, please, I'm traveling for the sake of God. If God exists, he should help me. So I prayed humbly. I remember, and this is a very, it would be interesting. We want testimonials because atheists will immediately dub testimony as false. And now I got to the gate. My ear was still hurting. Okay. Please, if you asked me, I'll finish the story. It was hurting so badly that when I was about to enter the gate, I have no idea. I said, oh God, if I sit on the seat before the gates close and you don't miraculously cure me, I will have to get off the plane. God is my witness, and I know this. You can't take this away from me, because why would I be here? Why would I be endorsing a lie? I don't want to live a lie. So I walk into the plane. The gate that takes you, or the little tunnel that takes you to the door? Yeah. My ear burst. I heard a pop, and a bunch of liquid gushed out of my ear, and I got worried. But I realized all the pressure was gone. This is one example. But what is scientifically tenable is when you can repeatedly observe phenomena over and over and over again. That is where I'm saying that the living God manifests day in and out.
Look.
But you can't dismiss
wait a
someone else's view as rubbish.
Give an example as well. This Palestinian young girl, she stayed in the car. She was praying to her God. God, there is all tanks around me. There is guns around me. Everything around me. Can you help me? Please help me. Can you help me? He didn't, and she get killed. Now this is, and you give me a story, and I'm give you a story, right? So are you telling me this little child, she's not as a good believer as you, for example?
I'm not saying that.
So
I'll answer your scenario very simply. This is the issue, that we believers have not done a good job of actually representing what religion says about God. Islam says that even a mustard seed worth of injustice that is leveled against a person, God Almighty will recompense that person. And it is the atheistic viewpoint that says that that girl is hopeless, not the Islamic viewpoint. The viewpoint of belief and faith says that God will absolutely recompense her. And every particle of the universe...
never saved her. He never saved her.
Yes, because...
He saved you. You saved your ear. But why he didn't save her?
This is what I'm saying. From an atheist, please allow me. May I respond? May I respond? May I respond?
He just won't talk to the things.
Listen.
He doesn't. He just won't talk to see how he impress people.
No. That we're not. Rest assured, I am not here to impress anyone.
take the
My friend,
conversation.
if you told me right now you don't want this on YouTube, I have no problem.
bother me.
We are not here to get views.
Thing I want to tell you before I go.
Please just let me respond. Give me 1 minute to respond. You presented a scenario, and please allow me to respond. Huh? I mean, I think that's only fair, right?
But the direct response, you don't have room
No,
to
no, no.
respond.
I'll tell you. You are objecting to a concept of God, saying, where is God in this scenario? I'll tell you. God Almighty is not in a vacuum. God Almighty has always taught in every society that there is an afterlife. That after we die, God Almighty will recompense those against whom there was injustice. I'm saying this over and over again, respectfully, lovingly. If you are objecting to the suffering that God allows, you must concede the mercy that God has put in your and my hearts. How can it be that the entire universe is moving toward equilibrium and every single thing is moving toward balance, and that our moral actions amongst one another will not have any sense of balance? People call it karma, they call it so many different things. So it's not true. We have to look at the whole picture, and in the whole picture, God is absolutely there.
Wait a minute. So do you tell me that I have more, me and her have more mercy than God?
Sorry?
Are you saying that me and
No,
her
I'm saying
have more mercy? So how?
What I'm saying,
How we are?
Sir, you asked a question, let me answer.
Finish it. How we are, both of us, wanted to serve this lady if we can, because we have mercy, and Allah is a merciful, and He couldn't save her.
Because, my friend, in Islam, this world is only temporary. Our real life begins on the basis of our actions here. So my friend, you're looking at a clock. You're pointing at one number.
Justify her killing.
Everyone is going to die. The prophets of God die as well. We're saying that the ultimate reward is with God.
Before I go, I'll tell you. Some people went to a mosque to pray for Allah, to save the Gazan.
Yes.
But Allah won't listen.
Okay.
Everyone speak, please Allah save the Gazan.
Yes.
Allah won't listen. But there is one person sitting there, he Muslim, and he went to God, please Allah, kill all the Gazan. And Allah listened, and He killed all the Gazan.
God didn't kill. No. That is very disingenuous. Do you think God killed those people, or do you think Israeli soldiers killed those people?
Yeah, I think Israeli soldiers killed those
So that's
people.
very unfair. But thank you for your time. Thank you.
I could say that we just live in a simulation that's sufficiently complicated to, to simulate, sentient life and something of this scale. That's equally impossible to prove wrong.
When it comes to a simulation,